But look, me and my homie, we were talking about how is the masses of people separated. And we were saying that the reason why you see the rich with the rich and the poor with the poor is because it's governmented that, you know, the poor stays where the poor at, everybody have the same mindset, and the rich stays with the rich, where everybody is networking, everybody got the same mindset, everybody is well connected, people are helping each other, people are nice, people are leaving their doors unlocked. Just a lot of stuff is going on versus the poor. People are getting shot, people are being negative, people are hating on each other, and it's what they feed in the communities of the rich or the poor, right? So for instance, like clearly I stay where the rich stay at, right? So when you are around, and I'm from the poor area, so don't forget this, I'm from the poor area, that's where I'm from. I was born and raised in Chicago, one of the worstest parts, South Side, you know what I mean, some projects. So I know what it feels like to walk outside and see nothing but liquor stores, crackheads, fights, trash outside, smelling like piss, just a lot of unorganized stuff, right? But when you go to a rich neighborhood, you don't see no liquor stores, you don't see no tobacco places, it's all Merrill and Lynch and banks and wine tasting and cigar places and all high-end rich stuff, Lamborghini dealerships and stuff like that. So long story short, they put the wealthy around all this nice stuff. They try to, like, it's all a mind control thing. That's why when I preach, man, that's why, man, I say move, get out the small cities, get out the neighborhood. Section 8 is not the move. You know what I'm saying? Low income is not the move, because you don't understand, every time you come out your house, what you have to see daily from the people that you're around to the fighting them. Oh man, Tayana got into it with It's always negativity, it's always fighting, it's always, oh, this dude beat up this dude, or you know what I'm saying, this girl was cheating with this man, and
kill each other over $100.
Yeah, all that type of stuff. Everybody want to be so gangster. It's not about that. It's about being rich.
It's the about principle. They like, yo, it's the principle. It's the principle, man. I fuck up everything. I don't give a fuck about none of that.
Yeah, until they get locked up, right? Until you get locked up, and in the county you thinking about, like, I shouldn't have did it. And man, listen, long story short is, y'all have to really dig deeper in your mind and start paying attention to what's really going on around you. Like, okay, why in my neighborhood, I rode 5 blocks and I seen 13 liquor stores, I seen a Popeyes, and when I went to the other side of the good town, I don't see no Popeyes, I don't see no McDonald's, I just see Fleming's, Morton's, all this good food, and you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, all this food be processed food, but it's better food, right?
It ain't even about the food, it's about who you gonna meet sitting down eating the food, you know what I'm saying? When you get in there, you get a certain type of customer service from a certain type of waitress just based off of the area you go. You know that you go to that rundown restaurant, you go to McDonald's, ice cream machine always broken. You go to one of these good restaurants, the waitress, she knows somebody that can connect you. She see you with your sauce on. See you having a meeting or you on the phone. She's like, oh yeah, I remember meeting a guy that was doing something similar. I can connect you. Just being in those right type of places. Like I was saying the other day, right? Just in the same thing with the neighborhood. When you grew up in those, you grew up in those neighborhoods, and then you start seeing people with a nice car. If that doesn't make you curious to ask them, yo, like, what do you do? Like, what did you do to pursue that? Like, I'm just assuming every time somebody's in a dope ass whip or got some ice on, they did it illegally. You know, these days, e-commerce, stocks, fucking real estate, like that's the new dope game. It's actually making legal money. Like I sold a zip back in the day.
Yeah.
I sold a zip, a $300 zip. I was making what, $15 profit per gram. By the time I got done, I said, damn, I just talked to 28 people to make $300, right? So you gotta realize you get paid based off of the problem that you solve, right? So all I was doing was solving a small fix of people wanting to get high for a limited time. I was making a profit of $15 per gram, right? Now I'm changing motherfuckers' life, right? So now at this point, I'm still solving a problem, because at the end of the day, everything comes down to marketing and sales. But what are you marketing and what are you selling? Right?
Exactly.
So if you can sell to a motherfucker and you actually got case studies and you can show that you can change somebody's life, that's when the real value comes into play. Getting around those multi-millionaires, just being a fly on the wall. And a lot of times you're like, damn, well, how do I get in those rooms? How do I network with those type of people? A lot of y'all so stuck on getting paid up front, you will never get paid on the back end. Right? Stop sliding in people's DMs like, yo, I got a question. Just ask the question.
Exactly.
Like, no, look at what they got going on their page. If you provide value, look at what they got going on, right? If you're a videographer, if you're an editor, if you're a designer, if you're an ad expert, run an ad for them and say, hey, look, I ran an ad for you on a dummy page and this is the results that I got. Would you respond to that more?
I would respond to that more. I would think that, again, this person really is about their shit versus just looking for a handout. A lot of people fail because they come in the game just strictly looking for a handout. It don't be no kind of benefit or asset to the situation. I will show a person that I am an asset and I feel like, and I'm gonna make you need me. If I can make you need me in your situation, I know I'm gonna make money from
You're
you.
gonna take initiative. That's hard.
You have to do that, because if you do that, you will win. And I will think in my head, like, I'm gonna get with this dude, show him that he need me, and we will win. That's how you really win at the end. You know what I'm saying? You gotta force it on the person, not saying that, oh, look, I got results, and because I'm gonna think like, okay, well, if you know how to do this, how come you're not real successful in doing it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if somebody said, like I said, somebody said that they can sell weed, or somebody said that they can run ads, and I look at their page and it don't look like they got $1,000, I'm gonna say, nah, man, you're not successful in that. You're lying.
So with that being said, work on yourself first, right? You gotta understand the first business that you gonna ever own is your first and last name.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the first business that you will ever own in your life, right? So when you start networking with people, let's say, or if you're trying to get, it's like going to a bank, right? You're trying to get a loan. The bank gonna look at you first. Who is this trying to get 100? You know what I'm saying? Who's trying to get 50,000 from me, right? If you ain't molded yourself with all the free information that we got on, with the people that you can follow and the content that you consuming up and down your page, looking at ads all day, then that's all you know.
Right.
You ain't watched no how to build your credit, how to use credit cards to live for free, how to properly leverage your trade lines, how to get car trade lines. Like you ain't, like they've been figuring out finesse ways to get to the bag on some M's, and we were trying to figure out how to get to a couple thousands.
And another thing too, and what I know a lot of people are always saying, remember, you always hear some people acting like the money's not everything, which always be the people that fail. Because if you really think about it, everything around you is involving around money. Believe it or not, it is. Everything that you do. That's the reason why you go to work. That's the reason why you eat. That's the reason why you got a roof. So stop being negative, talking about money don't mean everything. But the same people that'll tell you money don't mean everything put love first. They put the girls first, or the girls put the guys first. So does that mean more than money? Because I'm confused.
Well, it can't mean more than money, because one of the #1 reasons for divorce is lack of finance.
You better say it. The same girls and the same guys sit on Instagram, right? And these girls are watching these guys give these girls these nice gifts. Ooh. And they watching these guys take these girls to these nice restaurants and buy them these nice clothes. And while they're so in love, they get that small little attitude, right? You know, but that they don't say nothing about it. They just like, well, you know, that doesn't, they force themselves to say, well, you know, that stuff doesn't mean that I still love my man the way he is, and which is fine, But at the same time, somebody is waiting to, that situation is just comfortable, right? Until one or the other really get their mind together and start thinking at the bigger picture and start looking at the bigger picture.
So like, one thing about us as men is, you know, sometimes we try to get this negative connotation about women is that they money hungry, right? It's not even really that. It's that when you have a little girl, when you have a daughter, right, you're going to teach her to look for stability.
Exactly.
You're going to teach her to look for an alpha male, right?
Yeah.
You're going to teach her to look for somebody that can take care of her, that can provide. So it's like, at the end of the day, that's what we do. We provide for our women. So if you not provide for your woman financially, it's only natural for her to see those things, and in the back of her head, even if it's just a smidget, you fuck up a little bit, or she get a bag, she gone.
Cause like, you gotta think like this. You don't want your daughter with somebody who's not responsible, who don't got a car, who can't right now can't call her an Uber because he don't got the Uber account, or he don't got the money for the Uber account. You don't want your daughter to have a guy that just not organized, like real discipline. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta think of it at that point. Then you'll understand, like, what kind of guy do you want for your daughter?
To them, yo, those acts of services, when you doing those things, if you can't comfortably do those things, somebody else gonna come around and do the exact same thing. They gonna get on Google, they gonna watch a page, they gonna follow Bandman, they gonna follow me, they gonna follow us and learn some shit and figure out how to duplicate their income. I just had somebody DM me, bro, the other day, and I said, yo, I've been giving out free game for like 5+ years. Shorty DM me, I never knew her, never said anything to me. She said, yo, watching your page just on the free information you gave me, I've already made over 6 figures in my business.
Yeah. Yep.
Somebody I never talked to, right? Off of free game.
Yeah.
Bro, I've been paying for courses and access to information, but I done spent probably over $200,000 just on education outside of college.
Yeah.
So financial literacy is one of the most important values that you ever learn, because they teach us this in school. Why? Because they wanted us to work.
Exactly.
They tricked you to believe the harder you work, the more money you'll make.
Yep. You notice when you talk to certain people, the first thing that they think that would impress you is saying college. Like, oh yeah, you know, I got my college degree in sales and I got my college. Bro, please don't tell me you got your college degree in nothing.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, what is your willingness to accept change? What is your willingness to accept change? You see, you may be very willing to learn the information, but you may be very unwilling to change the way you think or the things you do. Because changing, you don't want to change. Well, the fact of the matter is, a guy said to me years ago, which I thought was one of the most profound things I ever heard, he says, if you want things in your life to change, you're going to have to change things in your life. Think about that. If you continue to do what you've always done, you'll continue to have what you always got. You have to understand that if you're at a certain point in your life and you're not happy, the methods that you've been employing, the things that you have been doing, the actions that you have been doing, the way that you have been thinking are wrong. They ain't working. That's why you're at a certain point in your life. You have to change some things if you want to change the result. That's the fact. And this is one of the hardest things that people grasp. I remember I took a typing class one time, and I typed around 30, 45 words a minute with 2 fingers. I was pretty good, so I took a typing class because I wanted to get faster. And the typing teacher said you have to use all your fingers. Well, when I started using all my fingers, I went from 35 to 40 words a minute. I went down to 20 words a minute, and I thought, this ain't working. My hands aren't designed for this. I don't want to type with my whole hands, all the fingers of my hands. I want to type with 2 fingers. I didn't want to change. And the teacher said, look, if you type with 2 fingers, you'll never get any better than 45 words a minute. If you want to get 80, 90 words a minute and really be a good proficient typist, which can be advantageous in your life, you're going to have to change, which means you may have to take a few steps backwards and relearn some things. So, willingness to accept change. This is how teachable you are. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, if your willingness to learn is a 10, but your willingness to accept change is a 0, 0 times 10 is 0. You have a 0 teachability index. Shut the tape off, throw it away, and stay a loser your whole life. Sorry. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I have a very limited amount of time, and I'm just going to tell you exactly what it is. You have to have a high teachability index. So you have to have a high willingness to accept change. Because as I go through these particular principles, and as you start learning some things, you're going to understand that some of these things are radically different than what you're currently doing. And to change what you're doing and what you're thinking and how you're thinking may be a little bit uncomfortable. But know that the result will absolutely 100% be what you want. So have a high teachability index, have a high willingness to learn, and a high willingness to accept change. If you're 10 on both, that means you're 100% teachable. You'll learn this so fast, so quickly, so easily. It'll be effortless, and you'll see spectacular results in a very short period of time. So the first secret is successful people in wealth creation have a very high teachability index. Next, you have to understand what's called a training balance scale. There's a training balance scale, and this is very, very important that most people don't understand, but people who have super wealth do understand. The training balance scale has 2 sides. The first side of the training balance scale is what's called motivation, or thinking, or thoughts, dreams. It's the why you do things. On the other side of the training balance scale is the technique, the skill, the action steps, the doing. So one side is thoughts, the other side is actually actions in real life. One side is dreams, visions, goals, motivation, attitude, enthusiasm. It's what goes on in your head. It's what you think and how you feel. That's one side of the training balance scale. The other side is actually what you do. It's the skills, the techniques, the action step. It's the work. It's the physical action. Now, what happens in most situations is people either overdose on one of these. They don't have a balance. Most people focus on the techniques of wealth creation. And that's fine, but the fact is, that's not the most important. The training balance scale starts with the attitude, the thoughts, the dream, the why. That's 90% of wealth creation. It's not the technique. It's not the how. It's not the specific knowing what to do. This is a huge, huge misunderstanding that broke people have. They say, well, I can't start a business because I don't know exactly how to do it. Did you know that 99%, as a matter of fact, probably 100% of the people that start businesses have no idea how to do it? They don't know the how. They don't care. They just know they're going to do it. That's the difference. That is the magical difference. When you see broke people, then the reason they never do anything is they're always afraid because they don't think they know how to. They don't have the skill set. They don't have the education. They don't have the technical expertise. They don't know the techniques. They don't know what to do or where to start, so they don't. The successful people, they also don't know the techniques or the skills or any of that stuff, but they don't care. They just know that if I just start, it'll all work out. Because their motivation, their dream, their why, their thought process is so powerful that they understand that the how will come. This is very, very important. The training balance scale, the secret here, what you have to understand is that there are two sides to the training balance scale, and that the thought process is much more important than the how. But it also lets you know that there are two sides and you should be working on both. So the secret here is to know that there is a balance between the how and the why, but to also know that the why, the thoughts, are much, much, much more important than the how, and really not to worry about the how. So if you understand that concept, that's really the secret here. It was actually first verbalized by Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill, some people are familiar with his book, Think and Grow Rich. That was not his definitive work. His definitive work was actually published 10 years earlier, called The Law of Success in 16 Lessons, which was taken off the market because it really outlined the secrets of financial success. And the super wealthy at the time freaked out because they did not want these secrets revealed. It was pulled off the market, and then 10 years later, Think and Grow Rich was put out, which was a watered-down version with all the key elements really taken out. Very interesting. But Napoleon Hill at the turn of the century was commissioned or hired by Andrew Carnegie, the richest man in the world at the time. This is right around 1900. And Napoleon Hill was given a 20-year job by Andrew Carnegie, where Carnegie said, I'm going to teach you the secrets of financial success, of how to make money. And I'm going to introduce you to the wealthiest people on planet Earth. You're going to observe them, interview them, and look at them for 20 years. And you're going to put the definitive work together of what are the true common denominators that create financial success. Universally applied principles that worked forever in history and will work forever forward in history. Napoleon Hill did that, and that's when he published The Law of Success in 16 Lessons, much to the chagrin of all the super wealthy he interviewed, and they freaked out and it came off the market. And then later, as I mentioned, Think and Grow Rich came out. But Napoleon Hill said the number one most important common denominator of financial success, and if you did nothing else except this, you would make money beyond your wildest dreams. This was the secret. And he said, have a definitive purpose, a clearly defined dream, which we just talked about, and have a burning desire for its achievement. A magnificent obsession. An obsession. A burning desire for its achievement. And when people applied those two principles, a definitive aim with a burning desire for its achievement, that it must happen, where they focused their attention on it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Napoleon Hill said when people applied that simple principle just with their mind, that's why the title of his next book was Think and Grow Rich. Not do and grow rich. Not act and grow rich. Not work and grow rich, but actually think and grow rich. He said when a person applied that simply in his mind, money came so fast and in such large quantities, it frightened him. That's what Napoleon Hill said. He said, but he stopped being frightened because most people looked at that as being so simplistic they didn't apply it, which is pretty interesting. So a burning desire is really this key. Having a burning desire for something's achievement that you have a very specific goal on. Very important to wealth creation. Associate with winners. Associate with winners. Successful people associate with like-minded people. Remember this. 5 years from now, your income will be the average of your 5 best friends. And somebody's probably thinking about their 5 best friends right now, and they go, my God, I better get some new friends. And guess what? You're right. I'm sorry, but you're right. If you continue to do what you've always done, you'll continue to have what you always have. The thoughts of the people around you will rub off. If your 5 best friends are all broke, guess what? You need 5 new best friends. You need to change the association because the thought process rubs off, the energy rubs off. Successful people always understood that they must associate with and be in the presence of successful people. Aristotle Onassis, one of the richest men in the world, said, if I lost all my money, what I would do is I would find a place where rich people congregated and I would just physically be there because that energy would rub off on me. And I would be given opportunities as if by magic. And this is a guy who was a shipping magnate, married Jackie Kennedy. This is the point. When you look at successful people beyond the average success, I'm not talking a guy who makes a couple $100,000 a year. Some of you may be thinking that's incredible success, and certainly it's good. But when you start getting into the stratosphere levels of money, the people are almost like Jedi Knights. I mean, they think in this esoteric, mystic, spiritual, energetic way. And broke people don't understand that. I mean, that's the bizarre thing. So you have to understand there is an energy level that the successful people know exists, and they know that's how the universe works. They don't share that with the average guy because the average guy would think that it's lunacy. But that's what we talk about when we're together. I mean, I'm on my buddy's yacht in Sydney, Australia, and there's 3 of us there, collectively worth $2 or $3 billion, and we're talking about energy and be able to, moving and creating reality with a thought. I mean, that's what our discussion is. It's not about the technical aspects of running a business. Because we're creating money as we're sitting on this yacht, smoking a cigar in the hot tub, having sushi and caviar and drinking champagne. And we're creating wealth just by sitting, creating it in our head. And we know we are. And we play games where we can use our mind. And all of a sudden the phone will ring. And somebody will say, I'm going to create this. They start thinking about it. And then the phone rings. They go, ha, it just happened. Boy, it took 10 minutes. I mean, and some of you are listening to this going, is this guy crazy? I'm telling you, that's why this is called the 25 Secrets of Wealth Creation. That's why they pulled the book, The Law of Success in 16 Lessons, off the market, because it shared this stuff. And nobody at the time, the super wealthy, did not want the masses to know the true secrets. And that's why Napoleon Hill said these techniques are so powerful that when people applied them, it frightened him because the money came so fast and in such large quantities. So associate with winners. Always be around and hang around winners.